Hey everybody, welcome to Burgers and Burpees. I'm your host, Angela Romano, and today we have a very special guest. So excited. We have Baltimore Ravens quarterback coach T. Martin. How are you?
How's it going? Thanks for having me on, Angela. Appreciate it.
Thank
I
thank
like
you
I like the
so
name
much.
of your show too, by the way.
I love burgers and I love burpees.
I know that was insane. Yes, that challenge was crazy.
Yeah, and I just thought, you know what? They go so great together, right? And who doesn't love burgers?
I know I'm a fan.
Yes.
I'm
Well,
I'm
we'll
a
talk.
smash burger fan actually.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
don't worry. I am going to ask you your burger order at the end. So save that.
Yep,
Okay.
you got it.
So let's talk about you. Okay. Former
Mhm.
quarterback for the University of Tennessee. You led that 1998 team, the Tennessee Volunteers, to that football national championship.
Yeah, yep.
You've played multiple seasons in the NFL. You've coached high school, college. Now you have a home at the Baltimore Ravens where you were the wide receiver coach, currently the quarterback coach. I mean, let's start at the beginning. How did you even get into football? Because I know when I was little, when my mom got me in sports, it was like, you're going to play tennis at the rack up the street where you can walk.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just need you to do something to get out of the house.
No question. No, I grew up in South Alabama, town Mobile, Alabama, right on the coast, about an hour and a half from New Orleans, 45 minutes south, east of Pensacola, west of Pensacola. And so we're like on the coast, and very active, great weather all the time. Grew up in the inner city, and it was just athletes everywhere. For the most part, I was a member of the boys club at the time. It's the Boys and Girls Club now. Uh, and it was just a bunch of kids running around. And I was really blessed because the apartment where my great grandmother and my mom lived in, right across the street, there was a basketball court, a gym, and a baseball field. It was a part of the boys club, and so I don't remember a time where I wasn't outside just playing whatever the sport was that everyone else was playing, or on my bike riding around the town. I was a very active kid, and so my my start in football came from my dad. Actually, my dad was a very good football player, basketball player, ran track. He was a teammate of Jerry Rice in college at Mississippi Valley State. And
Wow.
yeah, no, he was my I looked up to him in everything. And so I just remember being a young kid. My dad had me out throwing the football, teaching me things. And so it was just kind of in my DNA for the most part. Officially started playing football. Um, I was at a park and we had moved to this new neighborhood. I was just wandering around, stumbled on a football practice, and I wasn't a member of the team, didn't know anything about it. I'm sitting in the bleachers, and the team kicked the ball, and it kind of rolled over by where I was standing. And I just grabbed the football and I just chunked it back to the coaches. And one of the coaches yelled back, he goes, "Hey, kid, like, come here." And so he's like, ask me my name, where do you live? Like, I'm new, but my mom's not gonna let me play football. She can't afford it. And he's like, well, you stay here and let me take you home, and I'm gonna talk to your mom. And sure enough, after that practice, his name was Henry Pugh. Coach Pugh ended up taking me home, and he had a sit down meeting with my mom. I'm like 10 years old, and he just begged her to allow me to play. He waived all the fees. We'll get his pads, his equipment, and that was my start in organized football, and played there with him. And from there on, high school, college, recruiting, and all that stuff. But that's how I got started. It was like my dad, the boys club, and then officially, Coach Pugh recognized me at a park one day.
I love that. That
Oh
is
yeah.
so awesome. You
Mhm.
are just so kind and so humble. So, like, what do you think of and what goes through your head when you look back at everything you have accomplished in this sport?
God. I mean, it's God. Like so many things we look back on our lives, and you couldn't align it any better. You know, whether it was the people in our lives, For me, a community raised me. Like my mother and father divorced when I was at a young age. My great grandmother, my grandmother, my aunt, uncle, mother, coaches, teachers. It was like whoever could put hands on this kid, do it. And I was just a free spirit, you know. Back in those days, different than the 2000s.
So
Early
different.
80s, mid 80s, early 90s. You
Yep.
knew your neighbors and you could spend the night and hang out and things like that. So, and we were in the South, it was South Alabama, so it was very much more a community effort. And so I look back on it and it was just God. Like I didn't we moved into that neighborhood. I was down because I was used to my friends in the other neighborhood and I didn't want to live there. And like 2, 3 days in the neighborhood, I'm on the best thing that ever happened to me. Not only that football team, but Coach Pugh ended up being a mentor and a support person in my life, like still to this day. And so
Oh,
he
that's great.
God blessed me with a male figure in my life at a time where I needed it. So
Oh,
it's just I just look back. It's just been the grace of God and just blessings.
that is so great. I know for me, coaches were a huge part of my life. They
Yeah.
still are. I still have a coach today, and I just owe them so much. And I became a coach for my daughter's little soccer team. I was not a soccer player, but to be able to I still see some of those kids and they're
Yeah.
still like, Coach Ange, because I was their first coach.
The first
Like
coach. Okay, good.
that is just like being a coach is just such a blessing and it really gives us a chance to share all the good values like
Yeah.
you just talked about with our youth and really help them become who they are.
Right. Yeah. No, it's so rewarding for us, but it's also giving back, and that's where I knew at a young age I wanted to coach. I didn't know what my journey would be. I was that kid. So this is crazy. Like this story is just nuts. So the neighborhood I grew up in, it was a housing project, but every street was named after a bird, and so it was called Birdsville, right? So I grew up in Birdsville, area of Maysville in Alabama, basically where Hank Aaron was from, like that same area, right? And so I lived on Eagle Drive, and Raven Drive was there. You had Cardinal Drive, all of these heron. You had all starling, named after all these birds, right? So I'm a kid, and I'm like, man, we got this big baseball field here. I want to put football teams together. So I said, hey guys, like everybody go buy white T-shirts, and we're gonna get these markers, and we're gonna write the street that we're from, and that's gonna be your team. So you had like Eagle, and you had Raven, all this stuff. It's crazy. It's like 80s. And we put our teams together based on what street we were from. And we ended up having Eagles versus the Ravens, like Cardinals versus the Eagles, like all this stuff. And I ended up in the future playing for the Eagles and coaching for the Ravens. And so it's unbelievable that things were aligned that way. But no, like you said, I knew then that I liked coaching. And I told my great grandmother before, I was like, I don't know what I want to go to college for. I said, but whatever I go to college for, I'm going to end up probably coaching. And that's what I ended up doing. Yep.
And what is your favorite part about being a coach? Because
Man.
it's different coaching high school, it's a little different coaching college, and now you're coaching NFL players. What is your favorite thing? Because each of those experiences are very different.
Yes, I think overall, what I think back on the most are the memories and the relationships. The wins, the losses, yes, that's a part of it. Been a part of championship teams, close to being in the Super Bowl teams, as a player, as a coach. Um, at the end, when you think about your journey, it's about the people. And so, when I think about Little League, I think about my teammates and my coaches. I can't remember a score of a game or how many touchdowns I had. High school, it's about the people, your teammates, the times you spent in the hotels, traveling on the airplanes. And so that's why I do it. I really value the relationships, and whether it's now with the quarterbacks, Lamar, and the guys that I've coached since being the Ravens quarterback coach and receivers coach in college, they're younger. So you're in their lives at an age where they're becoming men. And in high school, when I coached in high school, we really had a chance to shape guys' lives and outlook on life. And that's what I love doing the most is and what I get from it the most is the relationship and the memories in those relationships.
Now, how about, I know for me, sports has taught me everything, like sports and life lessons.
Yeah.
So, what are your favorite, like, what life lessons has sports taught you? Because you insert everything, right? Everywhere. And for my daughter, I know, being a mom of a female athlete, there
Yeah.
was like no question. We're going to try some sports. We're going to see where you want to be because just being a part of a team
Yes.
and
Yes.
and I always would tell my players, and I always tell even my clients now, it's so easy to talk about what we're strong at.
Yes.
But
Yes.
really, our development comes when we talk about what we need to work on. And that's hard.
That's hard. Yes. No. No
It's
question about
hard to say I'm weak at this and I have to deal, I look at that in myself with bodybuilding and what I'm weak at and it's really hard. So what are some lessons that sports has taught you?
a million lessons. But I would say what sticks out the most is perseverance. And like you were just talking about, is a great segue to what I was going to say is how to get up off the mat. Like you're going to get knocked down. It's not even a question. It's gonna happen. Whether it's a fitness goal and you plateau, whether it's a setback, whether it's an injury. I've been injured, multiple surgeries, concussions, like wins, losses. You have to get off the mat every day. And even as a coach, I know I think people think that sometimes when the season's over that we're just on vacation until training camp. But it's the self motivation every day to get out of bed early and put in a good day's work when you don't feel like it, when you feel great, when you've lost, when you've won, when family life is great, when it's not great, and all that in between. I think sports it creates this environment of toughness, of resilience, um, like you said too, is it's like you set a goal and it teaches you how to stick to it to reach that ultimate goal. And
Yep.
all of those things that I mentioned, it carries over in business, it carries over in fatherhood, and everything else I am as a son, a nephew, an uncle, whatever in my life. I try to carry those same traits to my personal life.
Yes, absolutely. When are you going to start your podcast? You're Let me
Oh
tell
man,
you,
gotta
we're gonna
create
get
some
we're gonna
time.
get you on here again because
All right, right.
that is just I'm so passionate about all those things. So let's
Yeah.
talk about a topic that's a little serious because
Mhm.
mental health in sports
Yeah.
is such a hot topic right now. I know for me personally in sports, I've dealt with certain things. I see some young athletes. Simone Biles was really vocal. Um, with why and how she needed to step back. AJ Brown comes to my heart when we
Yes.
talk about mental health struggles in the NFL. So what type of things are you doing with your guys to keep their minds right? Like what are the
Yeah.
Ravens doing? What are you doing personally? Because you can be the greatest athlete, but
Yes.
what we have between our ears is the most important.
Yeah, I think the Ravens do a great job. We have a full-time clinician on staff, Dr. Tricia. She is unbelievable. Not only just for the players, but for the coaches as well. She is there full time. She was a professor at Howard before. She was part time, and then the Ravens were the first team in the NFL to make her a full time employee and resource for our players and coaches. So that's what we do in Baltimore, which is the best I've been around. Like other places, you had a person that you could call, or they were outside the building, and that was good because it was better than what we had before that. And so I think the Ravens are the best at what they do. But for me personally, I just try to be someone that they can open up and talk to and be real with,
Hmm.
and know that they can trust their information with me. Sometimes it's not about me solving the issue for them as much as it is being a place for them to just talk it all out, and I may inspire a thought or give them direction and lead them towards professional help if it gets out of my pedigree to manage it. But the main thing that I do as a coach is, yes, we are coach. Yes, we are motivator. Yes, we are constructive. But also, it's, do you need to close the door, lay on the couch, and just vent? And I think in my career as a coach, I've had more players to do that than ask me
Mhm.
for, say, professional help. And I've also had a player who was very close to ending his life that trusted me enough to say, Coach, I need help. And I
Wow.
left the office, grabbed them, rushed them over to a facility and got them professional help. And so it's all that in between as a coach. I just think that we're living in a time now where it has always been important, but it wasn't always accepted or
Absolutely, yeah.
looked at as a tool. I think
Mhm.
that you have mental health in the sense of, okay, I have an issue, I need help, I want to work it out. But you also have the mental health side of, how can I use these tools, even if it's anxiety? How do I work on breathing techniques and things of that nature when I'm anxious? Is it I'm scared to play in front of a crowd, or is this moment of a Super Bowl or the playoffs? It gets too big. How do I manage this stuff? And being able to use mental health professionals to give us the tools to manage our day to day life. And I think that for me, my mental health journey transitioned from being a young person who had gone through so much in my life, growing up in the inner city and just seeing a bunch of things in my life that young people aren't supposed to see, and then getting thrown into this college sports academic environment out of the environment that I came from. It was like a culture shock. And I went through a lot of things, when I first got to college. So I went from, not knowing what was going on and getting help to now understanding that it's a tool. Like getting counseling
Mhm.
is not
Mhm.
always because something is wrong. It's that to give me the tools to manage when something's going to come up. And so that's what I try to encourage with players, family members, friends, to not only see it as something's always wrong, but also seeing it too as these people can help me with tools to manage when something does happen in my life. And that's kind of how I see it now. I think it's a wonderful thing what the Baltimore Ravens are doing, because we have help on either side of it. If you need help
Mhm.
or if you need tools when things happen.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, and also too, for me, just my experience with athletes, and I used to be this way,
Mhm.
where we would look at a mental health struggle as a sign of weakness.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
like
absolutely.
we're so strong physically, we can't be dealing with this. This isn't something we deal with, but it is because we're human.
That was something that I felt so I felt so like, I don't want to say, I just felt so bad when I got to a point of realizing like all that stuff was wrong. Like, be tough, suck it up. Like, okay,
Right.
coach, all right, I'm tough. But then I'm dying on the inside. And once Dr. Jack Llewellyn was the first sports psychologist I used when I was playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was out of Atlanta. And we were just working on breathing techniques and how to refocus and how to reframe things, and it just kind of dawned on me. I was like, dude, that stuff wasn't good. Like, there is a
Yeah.
time where you get your butt knocked off and your coach
Right.
says get up. But there are also times where you need to say, you know what, this is deeper than that. Let's dig a little deeper. And so I'm so glad that I had that revelation at an age where I could help myself and help others. So, no, but you're
Right.
exactly right.
Yes, yes. And all of these experiences help you be a wonderful father.
Yes, thank you.
So let's talk about youth sports for a minute, okay? Youth sports are crazy, man. Let me tell you.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So this is the question I want to know. What type of sports dad are you? Are you coaching on the sidelines? Is the ref telling you to like sit down? Is the coach like this across the field telling you to get back on the bleachers? So like what kind of sports dad are you?
Up until last Saturday, I was
Up until last Saturday. Hold on. Let's back up.
up
Up until
until
last
up
Saturday.
until last Saturday, I was a stay on the sideline, leave everybody alone dad, right? Something happened last Saturday, I had to step in. But
Oh,
that's not my reputation. So I'll say this. I being a coach and just respecting the game and not wanting my kids to feel like the lines are being crossed or being blurred, I've always had the approach of dad. And when my kids had questions, I could coach them and use my professional experience to coach them.
Mhm.
Just so happened, I have three kids, three sons that play football. Um, Middle son, Caden, decided to go baseball. He's now back playing football. And a daughter who was like more cheerleader dancer than athlete. So I've had pretty good balance there.
So you're a
But
cheer dad. You were a cheer dad at one
hear that?
point.
No, that's even crazier than some of the baseball stuff we've gone through, right?
Yes, it is. Let me tell you. Were you the
It's,
cheer dad doing the routines in the bleachers?
oh, the makeup and all of the stuff. No, it's heavy. And so, but long story short, I've been that way. I've never wanted them to come to the car and feel like I was comparing them to other kids, one, and then two, to myself or to players that I was coaching. Because it's so
Hmm.
tough on the male or sons of coaches because the first thing they think about is you're comparing them to the guys that you're coaching. Or
Right,
you spend more time with the guys that you're coaching than you spend with me. And
right,
who are you to come in at my game and shout at me, right? And so I've always the ride in the car has been quiet most of the time. And first off, I say it's about how you play the game. All right, I don't care how many home runs, I don't care how many touchdowns, I don't care, but the respect of the game and how you play. Give
hmm,
your total effort, and regardless of the outcome, I'm going to be proud, right? And
hmm.
so I've had that approach, and last week I had a deal where somebody was coaching something that I didn't agree with, and so I had to step in. But it was a very positive, constructive conversation, and we got
Please
to
tell me they listen to you because they'd be a
they,
fool not
we,
to.
we 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 got to an understanding. He was great about it. He was great about it. He had some scars from the past of dad stepping in and that kind of thing, and I understood
Right,
that too. And so, but
right,
it was great. It was a positive experience. But it was the first time I ever really just came out and said, "Hey, coach, can I talk to you about something?" Never had done
right.
before. Yeah,
Wow. A timely question.
well, that was great. That was a great question.
I am a coach's daughter. My dad coached me my whole entire basketball career, pretty much.
Okay.
My whole entire softball career, pretty much. And back then, back when we were kids, coaching was we talked about that tough love, right? So coaching
Oh
was
yeah,
totally different. And I always tell my dad, you can never be a coach right now. Don't even sign up.
he was tough.
Don't even sign up. And he was tough on
Tough.
me
Yeah, 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 yeah.
because he was a dad of four girls. I was the most athletic one, so like it was a constant. It was a constant.
I got you.
Um,
Got you. Yeah.
but you know what? Such a cool experience, like having that time with my dad. And now my activity of choice with my dad is we play golf. My dad is a super golf player, and now
Great. Great.
he tries to talk me out of bodybuilding. And wait, Angie, when are you going to take? When we're going to get golf lessons? And I'm like,
All
Dad,
right. Yeah, yeah.
like I have a child to run around. Like I
That's
can't be hanging
awesome.
out
That's awesome.
on the golf course.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's
Yeah.
that's
So
that's so cool.
so
Yeah, yeah,
it's such a cool experience.
yeah.
It's so cool. And like I said, I wouldn't change that anything for the world. And um yeah, and then having that home life balance with your coach at home. And then when dad puts you his picture and then it's just like, oh, the coach's daughter. And I was like, oh no,
Oh,
we earned that.
it's not what you think, right? Yeah, exactly.
We
Yeah.
earned that.
No, yeah. No, I've always no. It's interesting that you come from that background because I've always wanted to coach my kids, and I don't. At some point, I'm kind of figuring out how I could do it before they're all out of the house.
Mhm.
But I would like to have that because it just seems like it's really cool, and I don't know what your experience was, but it's always been interesting to me. Like looking at Deion Sanders and his son and some other guys, and even the Harbaugh family. Just how
Mhm.
they stuck together, and Dad coached them, and that was pretty cool how it panned out for him.
Yes. I mean, when I'm watching those Colorado games, not anymore, since the draft is coming up, but just seeing Coach Prime with his kids and it just fills my heart so much. Like,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
powerful,
yeah.
powerful. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
it's so amazing to see that. Like you don't even need to be there on the field. You can just be watching on television, just see the love and the bond. And that's such a great example.
no
Such a great
question.
example.
No.
Yeah.
We'll see if it
So
happens in the future.
yeah, so being a female in sports, I have to give the Baltimore Ravens props. So my daughter was part of the Lift conference that happened 2 weeks ago
Oh, so
at
yeah, yeah,
in Owings Mills at the
yes.
Ravens headquarters. So she loved it. So Lift is the leading and inspiring females to thrive, and she applied. She saw it at school, and I said, let's do it. So she applied and she got accepted.
That's
And
awesome.
the Baltimore Ravens do such a great job at highlighting, supporting women in professional sports. The
Great, great.
dietitian, Kaylin Buskey, the
Yes, yes,
assistant athletic trainer,
yes, yes.
the media managers, like different things. She got to go to the field house and do some drills with some of your guys.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
And she just loved it. And it's so cool for my daughter who looks up to the Erin Andrews and the Carissa Thompsons and
Yes.
you know the other women that are in the professional sports just to see the Baltimore Ravens hold something like that was just incredible. So what is your experience? How far you come all the different from high school, college to NFL to see women grow in the profession of professional
Yeah.
sports?
Well, I think it's great. I think it's so great. And like you said, from high school, really no women at all. Get to college, some were in the training room, not really on the field much at all. Yeah, not really much on the field at all from what I can remember. College and pro was kind of the same, but as a coach is when I really started recognizing and seeing the difference and the impact that women have on our sport and the different viewpoints and the fact that they come in and kick butt at their jobs. Like they're really, really good at what they do. And they're needed and wanted in our profession. And I just got hats off to them because that's a daunting task to kind of overtake when in a lot of cases they're the first at what they're doing. There's a lot of them are
Hmm.
the first on the football staff or the first being a manager. Like you said, you rarely ever had female managers because they're running around with pads and equipment and all this kind of stuff. And to see women out there doing their jobs and holding their own it's just great to see. And we have a fantastic group of women that hold us up and stand beside us, and with so much support, ingenuity, they just do such a great job. So hats off to them, hats off to the Ravens, the NFL, and everyone out in business who are taking it upon themselves to give people who deserve an opportunity to do what they do.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So she's part of the Women in Sports Club at her high school. And next week, they actually have a speaker, and it's the Buffalo Bills female reporter.
Oh, that's cool. That's really
Isn't
cool.
that cool?
Yeah,
That's very, very cool. Yes. So we, we got to talk about this. We
yeah.
got to talk about strong women. Your wife,
Hmm.
let me tell you, who I was when I first met her, and I met her at 45,
Yeah,
starstruck because her song I Do,
yeah.
2001. I wanted to be in the club with her. I wanted her outfit. We all wanted that moment. We
Yeah,
wanted that
yeah.
moment in the club.
That's
Like
awesome.
fabulous. So how does Team Martin meet Toya? Please
Oh
tell
God.
me because let me tell you.
Yes.
Go ahead, tell us. I gotta know.
It was great. I was a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers team. I'm playing with the Steelers, and she was on tour with Alicia Keys, and I was a huge Alicia Keys fan, and they were on tour coming through Pittsburgh. So myself and a few other teammates, we decided to have some backstage passes and go and support and all that. So before Alicia went on, there was a couple opening acts, and Toya was one of them. And I'm kind of backstage hanging out, and I hear the music come on for her song, and I just dart to the stage. I just like go straight, and I'm like standing in front of the stage, and I'm just like, it's all these little kids behind me. It's like this tall, dark skinned guy in front of all these little kids. And I'm just like looking at her on stage, and I'm like, she's beautiful. Like this woman is amazing. that didn't know her, had never met her before, anything like that. And she comes off stage, and I was very shy. And so I had a friend with me. I was like, "Look, man, listen, see if you can introduce us." And so she was like, "All right, I'll hook y'all up. But won't you come?" I was like, "No, I'm gonna stay right here. Why don't you do all the tough work?" So she goes up, and Toya looked at her and says, "I don't talk to football players." And I'm like, "Come on, man." And she's like,
But did
"No."
you say? But you say, but you're wearing that the cardinal gear
Oh
in the
man, yeah,
video,
all of
girl.
that stuff, right? Yeah. And she was like, at first she was like, I don't date football players, and so I had to get another angle. And so I said, Plaxico Burris and we were hosting a party after the concert, and I said, listen, I want to invite you to our party after the concert, and let's exchange. This is gonna date us right here. Two-way pagers, beam me up on the two-way
Yes.
pager. So I had a two-way pager, and I was like, "Let's beat me up." And so we
Mhm.
exchanged information. But little did I know, at the time I was 21, but she was 18 years old. And so I go to the hotel to pick her up, and don't answer the call. She don't pick up. Her management team, they shut it down. They would not let me
Oh,
talk to her. So I did get a chance to hang out that night in Pittsburgh, and we just stay on the phone, just in touch. Uh, on the phone, and she wrote me some letters. I wrote her some letters. Well, at the end of that season, I ended up playing in NFL Europe. So I was in Germany for about 4 months, and Toya goes on like a worldwide tour to like Australia with Bon Jovi and Pink, and they were just all over the world for the most part. And when I came back to the United States, my phone number changed. And you remember back then there was no such thing as a cloud. You had to
no.
physically retype in everybody else's phone number, right? So I'm like, oh man, before I do all of this, I'm just gonna text people and see if these numbers still exist. And so I sent out this mass text, and Toya was one of the first people to respond back. And I'm like, oh my God, like, wait a minute. Like, she responded. And so I didn't know what to do, honestly. And I had gotten picked up by the Oakland Raiders at the time. So I'm out in California. And she responded. We pick up the phone, we get on the phone, and we were on the phone, I want to say like 5 hours. Like the first time we ever really had a real conversation. And at that moment, I knew that I wanted to date her seriously. And she flew out, and a week long trip lasted 3 months, the whole off season. Every time she got ready to leave, I kept changing the flight, push it back to next week, push it back to next week. And it lasted for 3 months, and we ended up just staying together. And we've been married 19 years now, and we've been dating for 21 years. Yeah, almost 22
Wow.
years. Yeah,
That is such a great story.
yeah.
I love that so much. And
That's
that song still hits every time, man. I got it on my workout
thank you.
playlist.
Oh, that's
I
cool. That's cool.
love it. I
I got to
love
let her
it.
know. I got to tell her. Yeah,
Yes, and I'll play for it's on my because I have a client playlist, right? Because I have clients that are 30 to 83. So my client playlist is everything, and Toya's I Do is on there, and
that's cool.
everyone our age is always like, yes,
Yeah, that's
oh my
awesome.
gosh. I'm like,
She'll
yes,
appreciate that. Well, thank you so
yes.
much again.
So we're still supporting her.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so I got to ask you some fun questions. I could
Okay.
talk to you all day. I really,
Yeah.
we could just do an hour, but
Yeah,
out
that's
two
cool.
hours. But I'm going to ask you some real quick questions.
All right.
So my first question is, do you get an off season? We talked a little bit about that, where you said most people think we're just sitting relaxing, but when your guys are on an off season, do you get some downtime? Do you get some family time?
Yeah. It's better than the season. Obviously, once we report to training camp, it's pretty much no days off until
Yeah.
the last game, really. And then after that, there are like exit meetings and meetings to kind of recap the season and what can we do better and that. And then after that, we may have a couple weeks off, where it's vacation and you're trying to
Hmm.
reconnect with your family and friends that you haven't seen and things like that. And then we're back in the office, but it's like weekends maybe off. And John is really good about if there are holidays or if we need to take some time. He's very flexible in a sense of something going on with your kids. There's a big moment in your family, or you just got to take a trip someplace. Uh, we communicated and we're good. That lasts up to like football school OTAs, where we're about to go, like right around that draft time. And then once mini camp is over, like late June, we have like a month where it's like no football. That's the only time
Okay.
I can say really that I don't do any football at all. Like I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to see purple. I'm just I
I
just
want to
get
see
away. I
purple.
get away, get away, get away. And so because you know when you come back at the end of July, it's go time, right?
It's go
And
time.
so, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's it for me because I'm such a junkie about football that even when I try to disconnect, I can't,
Right.
and
Right. Right.
I'm a creative mind, and so you have play ideas, you have scheme ideas. What can I do better as a coach? How can I motivate better? How could I have done that differently? You're just constantly reflecting and trying to be better at your craft. And so, but that's pretty much what it looks like as a coach. During the season, you're in early, out late. During the off season, what we may call like this time now, where we're not playing games, you're getting home 5, 6 o'clock in the
Hmm.
evenings, and it's a normal life for the most part. So
Right.
it's a good balance in the National Football League because we don't have to recruit. When I was a college coach, when the season was over, it got even tougher because
Right.
recruiting was a big part of college sports, and so there was really no days off in college.
Right.
The NFL has a little bit more work-life balance than college, I would say.
Right. So that leads me to my next question. What advice would you tell young athletes that are trying to get recruited? Maybe it's college, maybe they want to go to the pro level. What is some advice that you would tell them? Because
Yeah.
like you've been there, you've done that.
Yes, yes, yes. When I went out recruiting, I always asked high school coaches, "What is his thing?" Meaning, is it speed? Is it strength? Is it intelligence? Is it toughness? Is it a feel for the game? Is it leadership? Is it whatever that trait was? Because that's what gets you seen and that's what sets you apart from the others. And so if you are a hooper and your thing is jump shots, be the best jump shooter out there. If it's football and you're a lineman, and your job is to protect the quarterback, be the best at that. So whatever your thing is, know what that is. Don't be ashamed of it. Keep that sharp while you're getting better at the other things because everybody's looking for something. Everyone
Hmm.
is not the same. You may have similar measurables, but what sets you apart from the other person that looks like you, moves like you, runs like you, and that's your same age? I'm tougher. I play faster. I hustle better. I'm a better teammate. Whatever that is, my grades are better. I'm a better person. I don't do drugs. All of these things, right? So find out what your thing is and master it while you are improving in the other areas. You got to have something to hang your hat on while you're improving in the other areas.
Love that.
That's what I was saying.
Love that. Awesome. All right. So, in your downtime, what are you binging on Netflix? What are you watching? What are you into? What are you going to tell the people to watch?
Yes, I'll tell you. My favorite now is The Resident. Yes,
Okay.
I love that series. I love medical dramas. So
Oh,
love medical
okay.
dramas. Yes, I love medical
Nice.
dramas. And then my second go-to is like crime stories and things like that. Uh,
Man.
yeah. So you can find me somewhere in there. The most recent one that I just binge watched was The Resident. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
Really, really, really good. I gotta find a new one though, because I'm kind of itching towards like needing something now. So
Okay. Well, I'll have to put my ear out to hear what people are talking about, and
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
have to
let me
let you
know.
know.
Yeah, let me know.
So, what song, what artist, what is on repeat? What are you training to? What's going on in that training room? Like, what are you guys listening to?
Oh, the guys are listening to everything. So
Everything.
whatever is popular on social media, or TikTok, or whatever, our players, whatever's new and good, that's what they're on. So they
Nice.
have a they have a different playlist that I have. I'm, I'm in the rap. I'm a hip hop baby, and so I'm more Kendrick Lamar right now, and
Okay. Okay. So
um,
I'm taking my daughter to her first concert. I've
yeah,
been voted to take the kids, the teens, and we're going to Kendrick Lamar.
that's a great one with SZA and all that.
Okay.
It's gonna be great, and I'm gonna
Okay.
be there, so that's good.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I'll be there.
Nice.
But no, just been a fan. I was at USC for 7 years and on the West Coast, and kind of at a time where he was making his way and kind of coming up, and to see him where he's at now, I just love content. I listen to rap, but I listen to the conscious rap. I listen to rap that has, uh, just some depth to it.
Hmm.
Uh, and then if I want to rap, want to work out and just kind of get moved, I listen to some trap music or whatever they want to call it,
Yeah.
the new popular young stuff. But I'm more of a R&B kind of laid back. I get into at work. I'm somewhere between Maxwell.
Yes.
Yes, Maxwell. Um, my favorite R&B artist is Lucky Day. All right.
Okay.
Lucky Day. Lucky Day is unbelievable. I'm just gonna let you know that. So if you guys aren't listening to Lucky Day, you gotta check
We
him out.
need to be.
You gotta check
Okay.
out Lucky Day. And then I kind of end the day on like a Stevie Wonder vibe.
All
And then,
right.
and then days where I'm kind of upbeat and up tempo. My favorite DJ is his name is Black Coffee. He's from Africa, but he's in America. He tours America 2 or 3 times a year. We got a chance to go to DC and see him. But his the beats, the tempo, the vibe is really, really good. So Black Coffee is my go-to as far as house kind of vibey feel. Lucky Day, R&B, Lil Maxwell, Stevie Wonder, and Kendrick Lamar for my rap.
That is great.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I'm going to be working on my playlist later.
Yeah.
For sure. I
You'll
love
like
that. I
Lucky
love
Day.
that.
You'll really like him. He has some good stuff.
Nice. I love that. All right. So, what is T. Martin's burger order? What are you getting on your burger? What are you
But
doing?
you
Okay,
about to take me about
calories
it.
don't count. Calories
First of
don't
all,
count.
first of all, you're about to make me hungry right here. And I'm trying to fast and do right. So
Remember, the trainer is asking you this question, so you're allowed to
I know.
answer it.
No, no. I'll be up in the morning working out. So when I'm on the West Coast, I am a uh, in and out guy. Like I'm an in and out guy, and I get the double double animal style, right? And so
Yeah.
that's on the West Coast. Here in Baltimore, um, I really like this place called Fuzzy's Burgers, and because they're smash burgers, and
Yeah.
I get the double burger with cheese, and I put just mustard, mayo, and ketchup on it, and I call it.
Good. Okay. Can I just say thank you for not telling me that you put a salad on your burger? I don't
No,
want a lettuce or I don't want the lettuce.
no,
I
no,
don't
no,
want the tomato. No.
no. If
Thank you.
anything, every once in a while I'll do grilled onions, but that's about it.
Yes.
I
Agree.
won't add lettuce, and no, I don't get that.
Yeah. Are
No,
you onion rings, fries, or sweet potato fries?
I am tots,
What is it?
tots.
Tots.
Yes, I am.
Oh,
I'm a tots guy.
I didn't even
If
think
they
of
don't
that.
have
Okay.
tots, if they don't
No.
have tots, then I like crispy fries. And
Yes.
so I like my
Yeah.
fries to be crispy. Yeah.
Man,
This
sweet
is a good
potato
question. You
fries.
got me thinking
Man.
about my order. Got me
You're like,
thinking
what
about
am
my
I going
order.
to get now?
All right,
Yes,
no, that's
sweet
good.
potato fries, onion rings, fries in general, just so
Yeah,
good, man. If calories are out the door, it's onion rings, it's
yeah.
fries, it's sweet
Yeah.
potato fries.
I got to get on your
Absolutely.
level though of discipline and with the stuff that you guys are doing. My hats go off to you guys. You guys have unbelievable focus, discipline, and the way you guys can stick to a regimen. Like it's unbelievable. I give it up.
It definitely has grown over the years being in natural bodybuilding like I am, being a 47-year-old bodybuilder versus my 27-year-old self. We've
Mm-hmm.
come a long way, babe. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it has been a journey, and you just know what works for you,
gotcha.
and it's almost like being older. Like it's not that you have to prove yourself, but you're doing it for you now. Like it's
I
all
got you.
about
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and I want to bring my best, and I want to beat that last girl that was on stage last year.
No, it makes sense. No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's when I first started lifting weights, I was like, maybe 13 years old, 12, 13, somewhere in there. I would buy those bodybuilder magazines at the grocery stores, whatever, right?
Oh yeah, muscle
And
and fitness.
yeah, you remember that? And remember they used to put the workouts in there back then. It would
Yes,
be
I followed them
um,
all.
yes, and so that was my introduction really to weightlifting. Was I was just the magazine. I was like, okay, this guy next door has a bench and he has some weights, and I would take those little workouts and do those
Yeah.
workouts. That was really my introduction to weightlifting. Really.
Yeah, mine was the same. It was a neighbor kid. We used to go in his basement. We put on Snap Power, like we put on music. We'd lift, and it was just we put the gloves on. We were
Oh
like
yeah,
hitting the
sure.
pads, and I was in like ninth grade of high school, and I was like, all right, let's go. And that's where I fell in love with weight training. I'm like,
That's what
all
you want
right,
to do. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah.
yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
get back to those days because those were the days. You didn't have
oh,
bills and things like that, right?
so great.
Yeah.
T, thank you so much.
Anytime,
I
man.
appreciate you so much. I appreciate
Mhm.
everything you're doing,
Mhm.
everything that you represent. Just promise me one thing
What's that?
that when you win the Super Bowl, you're going to come back on my podcast.
I got you. I promise you that. I will do it. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for me on your show, Angela. Good luck to you now, okay?
Thank you so much. And remember, don't forget to tell Toya that I'm still bumping her
Playing
song in
her
the
song.
gym.
We got it. You take care. Thank you. All right. Bye
Bye.
bye.